All right, they sound good. And it's actually kind of amazing. 5 hours. Wow. So, my dears, Seabeck, for those of you that are not there or have not gone, you might try it. A lot of people try it once, then go, I'm never not going. It's sort of addictive. Brian, I really missed you. Do you know the talent show without your heckling was just not the same? I mean, really, it's like, really, Peter was even saying, where's Brian? Where's Brian? And I'm going to talk about you later. Glad he's here, so I don't have to, explain later while I was talking about him, talking trash anyway. So I have to talk, if Seabeck is so multifaceted and so big a discussion that we could start almost anywhere. I could talk about the evolution of the food service. But I won't. I'm not going there. I could talk about all of the wonderful guest speakers we've had. I could talk about all the guest musicians we've had. It's a beautiful, wonderful unfoldment of delight. But let's talk about where it's really at, and that's nighttime activities. It's about the nighttime activities. And it seems like when the sun goes down, the children will come out and play, even though they're in adult bodies. So a long time ago, someone was even saying, it was Joyce Bornikoff. She said, I haven't been here since the shenanigans. That's what it used to be called. Shenanigans. There was a group. They shenaniganed. But then we morphed, and so then the drama got played out in games. Before it was like, were you around for the shenanigans, Brian? Oh, sometimes some of us would go to sleep, and what there would be is a newsletter on the tables in the morning saying what you missed. It was wild. How many were there for shenanigans? We'll just let it go. Anyway, so I think shenanigans morphed into let's concentrate the drama. Let's concentrate the good times. And people started playing nighttime games. So the games that I became involved in, and this is what I'm going to talk about Brian, the games that I started being involved in were, hearts. So there'd be all these hearts tables all over, and people would be playing hearts. So much fun. I would play with Eric Desodell and Brian Eckfeldt, and whoever we could rope in. But basically, it was the three of us. And I remember Brian one time, because Brian really has a quip, and Eric was losing. And and Brian said, you know what? You're sucking all the air out of the room. I was like, just these quips. It was so fun. Lighthearted, fun times. It was great. And then something happened. People brought Mexican train to Seabeck. And hearts fell away, and pretty soon it's just me sitting at a table saying, who wants to play hearts? And everybody else has got these tables, and they got these little things on their head, and they're playing Mexican train, and laughing, and up till 3, and what? But there's a new kid in town. There is a new kid in town. And there's been this shift from Mexican train dominoes to a game that will not be said in church. But it starts with an A, and it ends with an hole. That's the name of the game. And people were really into it. I mean, like, into it. And what's really wonderful is I was invited, and I wanted to be with the in crowd because the in crowd was having so much fun. I played about 2 rounds and went to bed. A lot of it had to do with so this is why. It's because I kind of got there late, and I was given cards, and I didn't know the strategy, and people were having fun doing stuff, and I'm just throwing cards down, and I'm losing. Don't like to lose much. Anyway. But isn't that like life? Have you ever gone to like a new school, a new job? Everybody's got the system, and you're like trying to figure it out? And Ashley Brilliant said it brilliantly, because this is all about life. He said, life is the only game where the object of the game is to find out the rules. And we do. Like, what's the rule for this? How you marry into a new family? What's the rules? You go to the rules in Seattle are not the same rules as the Midwest. The rules in the Midwest aren't the same as where my family came from, Oklahoma. I mean, things shift. The rules in Vegas are not the same as Seattle. You see that? Isn't that like you're always trying to figure it out? Like to fit in so you can play with everyone else? So I want to talk about those games, because in the games, whether it was hearts, well, you always got rid of the same cards. You get rid of cards at hearts. And in dominoes, and in this a-hole game that people were playing. Notice how I didn't say it. The idea is to get rid of the cards first. The first one to get rid of everything wins that round. And I think it's the same thing with the game of not life, but the game that I want to play, and I think you're playing because you're here. I think you're playing this game because you're here. And that's the game of the kingdom of heaven is here and now. And to play the game of the kingdom of heaven is here and now and win, you need to let go of some things and the faster you let go of this stuff, the faster you experience heaven. The faster you experience heaven. And so, what do you let go of in the game of the kingdom of heaven is here and now? You let go of beliefs and worldviews and just the stuff that keeps you from seeing what's going on, which is everything's really okay. We let go of the blinders. Now, heaven, I'm going to define heaven. Heaven is a sense of rightness. I forgot which great saint said it, but she said, all is well and always will be well. Who said that? That was her motto, all is well. Thank you. That word that was very bad. Say it out loud, really loud. Oh, yeah, Julia of Norwich. All is well and all shall be well. But she did, and things from the outside, we wouldn't say that things were well. But in her soul, all was well. To have that experience of all is well, to have this experience of centeredness, of harmony, of I am not disturbed, to be the eye of the storm, not the storm. And I had that experience about 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, I would say I got into an altercation, but it wasn't an altercation because it was only one-sided. Someone got really mad at me. So mad that their blood pressure went up and they almost fainted. I mean, they were so mad at me. And I'm just sitting there just watching going, wow. But I'm happy with the decision I made. I was calm. I wasn't contentious. It's like, no, I made that decision and I'm still happy with that decision I made. And I'm experiencing heaven, a sense of all shall be well. I'm not going to be made wrong, and I'm not going to make wrong. All shall be well. Storm, storm, storm. Center. Center. That's heaven. To know that you have something that you're going to talk about, but you're still in heaven. To know that you have to make a change, but you're still in heaven. To know that you have to downsize or upsize or change where you live, but you're still in heaven. To just be in heaven, to be all shall be well. That's beautiful. And it's not easy. How many, because see, what's really easy is hell. Hell's really easy. How many of you can just go there like in a second? Like right there, you're just like, I'm in hell. Woo-hoo. Trigger hell. Isn't it great? At least you know you can do something really well. No, if you know you can do that really well, you can train yourself to do the other thing really well. How many of you go into a little bit of hell if you get an envelope from the IRS? Yay. There is a reason hell is so easy. And that is because you are hardwired. Hardwired. It's not your fault. As a human being in a physical body, you are hardwired to put your attention on problems and to put your attention on danger. So a problem happens, something that you don't like happens, and it gets 2.5 times more emphasis and attention in your brain than something good happening. 2.5 times. This is proven. It's neurological. It's not your fault. How many of you have experienced this? A whole bunch of people go, yeah, you look good, you look good, you look good. Somebody said, well, the skirt's a little long. And your attention's on it. I should do something about the skirt. I'm just making that up because that might just off the top of my head. But how many of you been there? You know, you get a wonderful job review. La, 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 one little thing down at the bottom, and you go, it's hardwired, sweethearts. It's not you. We evolved that way. We had to because we didn't have really good running legs. We didn't. And our claws are not that great. Teeth, useless. Our predators would have killed us, except we knew how to create a tool and we knew how to be hypervigilant. So we were. Anybody 30,000 years ago who heard a noise and went, oh, I bet it's nothing, did not live to tell the tale. They didn't. So natural selection was that those people who paid attention to everything and were hypervigilant and ready for anything, they mated because they were the only ones left. And so it's just got hardwired. So hell's easy, heaven's hard. But it doesn't mean we can't be in heaven. It just means that we have to consciously choose more and stay more alert. There was a bumper sticker, you know, we haven't sold bumper stickers in a long time. We need to sell bumper stickers. Because there was a bumper sticker that used to be in Seattle a lot, and it was, look for the good and praise it. Look for it. Because we're always noticing everything that's not right. So look for the good, look for the good, look for the good, and praise it. Be on the lookout. I put this little sticky note on your head. But of course, then you couldn't see it. Never mind. Maybe other people would see it on your forehead and start to look for your good and praise it. That's what we should do. So, we're going to play the game of heaven is happening now, because heaven is happening now. Every religion says that there's something beautiful happening right now. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is here and now. It's not something that you wait for. It's not a destination. It's not a reward. It's happening. Are you awake to it? Are you awake to it? So on this huge game board of life, or let's just say the great big huge table at Seabeck, we're all going to play our cards today, and hopefully you will win. The faster you lay those cards down, the faster you experience heaven. Heaven on earth, heaven here and now, not waiting, not waiting. So, number one, some of the cards have to be eliminated. And in this game called A-Hole, I was told, I was just in the middle of it, and somebody said, lay down a low card. Okay, why? Somebody then explained why, but lay down a low card. So low cards aren't really going to help you much, and they're just sort of in the way, and they're a nuisance because you want to have the high cards for the end. So there's nuisance cards. Start laying down your nuisance beliefs. And those are the ones that are easy. They're just easy. And it doesn't take a big, you don't have to go through therapy to find them. Just have a friend that you trust tell you what your nuisance belief, and they will tell you immediately. It's the thing. It's just a bother. It's the bother beliefs. It's the stuff that you say you think it's a joke, but it's not, and your brain is listening to it. I was working with someone recently, and I know that she is being influenced by society. Society that says when a woman gets a certain age, they start to lose their appeal. They lose their value. They lose their spark. If it was Hollywood, they lose their ability to attract people that want to watch them in a show. Unless you're Meryl Streep, or maybe five women can hold a show after they get over 40. All the men mature so well. Bunch of bunk. They just have good lighting. Anyway. They don't fool me. I'm all about the lighting. I know lighting. People say, gosh, you haven't aged a bit. No, it's the lighting. Never look at me and, no. I'm always following the sun. Shoot. But you know how that is. It subtly gets in and people start to think it. And so I'm working with this woman, and she wants to have this thing happen in her life, and she says, but I don't know how I can because, and this is a quote, I'm old, I'm ugly, and I'm fat. So, as a good minister, in the holiest way I could, I slapped her. No, I didn't. It was on Zoom. But I got you going, didn't I? It's like, ooh, she's rough. But on Zoom, I said, stop that. Did you hear that? See, people, we throw these things out like it's a nothing. No, it's a thing. It's a low card, but it brings you low. To hold those things in your consciousness instead of, you know what? With every year, I get just better and better. Better and better and wiser, and more attractive. For men and women. Come on. So what? Well, let's just. So it's called discarding. When you're letting these cards go, what do you need to discard? What do you tell yourself? I was doing this talk last night, and I thought, well, I don't have any. God's so funny, and then I heard myself say that I was uncoordinated, and it's been my card that I throw out to myself a lot. I can't do this because I don't do pickleball. I'm not coordinated. I didn't ski well because I'm not coordinated. I never did tennis because I'm not coordinated. And the reason I do horseback riding is because I believe the horse is coordinated. All I have to do is sit on it. Praise God. See, you see what I'm saying? What is your discard? What are you going to throw out? What have you been saying way too much to yourself? Like, let that puppy go today. Because it's not serving you, and it's not going to help you win. You don't win with those low cards. Next one. You have to respond to what's on the table. So if you're looking at the dominoes and you're looking at all the places you can play your dominoes, and you can play or you cannot play, and then you have to decide which one to play. And then with this a-hole game, it's like somebody throws down a card, and if they throw down a 4, you can't play a 3. You have to play a 5 or above. But you don't want to play too big a card, because you want to keep that big card for later so you can do something really fancy, which I never figured out. All I was told is that could happen. Anyway, it's like, anyway, but you get the idea. You have to, what's in front of you? Play it. Use your cards and play what's in front of you. You don't just go willy-nilly throwing cards at each other. Well, no, some people do, but it's not a very good game. What's getting your attention? In your life, what's getting your attention? And a lot of times, because of that 2.5 thing, what's getting your attention is what you're afraid of. And it shows up as fear itself. Fear is a wonderful thing. Fear is a wonderful thing. And I'm not talking about fear like just it'll teach you to have courage. No, it's trying to teach you to get rid of some cards. It's trying to tell you to play a good hand. See, fear, and God did not give us fear so that we feel the fear and do it anyway. That just makes you anxious. And who performs well under fear? One. I want to suggest that the fear might also be excitement, because they feel the same way. But I don't do well under fear. When I was selling, if I was afraid, I didn't sell well. How many of you have been around salespeople and they're afraid? Then you're just so anxious for them, but you don't want to buy. You don't want to date somebody that's like that. I believe that what we need to say to ourselves is, what is the fear telling me? What is this fear telling me? And it can boil down to something like, I believe that I'm going to be rejected, alone, broke, misunderstood, left behind, or fail. Oh, look at the room. This is why these cards got to go. See, we can all laugh at the little 3s and 4s cards. I believe I'm fat, or I believe I'm a this, or I believe I'm a that. But it's the ones that fear is telling us about, that it's big. So to let go of it is going to offer up a whole lot of freedom. So we dump the deep belief, and the fear vanishes. It's a chance to really look at the idea, can I be alone? Can I really be alone? Well, since God's always with me, and since God is for my good, then I can't be alone. I mean, things like that. Can I fail? Well, if God can't fail, then I can't fail. So let's just try it out. And if this doesn't work, I'll try something different, because I can't fail. Do you see how it's an opportunity for us to own our own spiritual magnificence and what we were created to be? Fear can be our friend. Now, here's the other thing I want to say. Everything in your life had a good intention, even fear. It was always there to protect you. You've outgrown it. So lay the cards down. You don't need those anymore. You don't need those beliefs anymore. The last thing that I want to share with you about playing cards is that people try to make these power moves, and I only made power moves in hearts. I still haven't figured out dominoes. That whole wait till everything, and then all these dominoes. They're really. I think Diane Durbin, we used to be called the Derminator, because she'd wait just yeah, she'd just lay all these dominoes down at once, and they go, it's the Derminator. Anyway, in hearts, I'd get rid of a suit. It might be diamonds or something, and somebody throws a little 3 of diamonds out thinking that they were safe, and I would lay down the queen and 3 hearts and go, It was so fun. These big moves, so fun. In A-Hole, the big move was to lay down 3 of a kind, so the only thing that could be played next was another 3 of a kind. Big moves. We need the big moves because they move you forward fast, they get rid of things fast, you win fast. So here's the big moves as far as I'm concerned. It's dumping a highly accepted yet spiritually untrue world belief. Dump, get rid of, a highly accepted yet spiritually untrue belief. Highly accepted untrue belief. People can't change. Well, that pretty much damns all of us, doesn't it? Because change means we can't move on, we can't evolve, we can't let go of ideas and thoughts. I mean, to have that idea stops not just the person you're talking about, it stops all of us. How many of you say you've got some habit, and what you say to yourself is, but it's just me, that's just who I am. I would love to let it go, but that's who I am. No, that's not who you are. What you're talking about is a bunch of habits walking around in a suit of flesh. And what you are is an expression of the Most High God, always evolving into its magnificence. That's who you are. So we limit ourselves when we say, I'm a just to this and I'm a just to that. I love it. I'm a just to this and I'm just to that. I guess I need to go have Italian food tonight. Anyway, so another one is that things take time. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And they take less time if we stop talking about how long they take. Really? I'm in the process of, how about just get over it today? How about being done today? How about not being in fear today? How about stopping believing that you are just insignificant? You know, a whole bunch of Americans think they're insignificant. You know how I know? It's because the number of people that vote. When we were in Turkey, in Turkey, 85% of the people vote, and they still knew who it was going to be, but they voted. They thought it was important. Everybody's got to own how important they are. And then we would never, ever be blaming someone else for our conditions because we'd know how important we are. And here's the one I love. We think problems are problems. There's that thing going off in our head again. It's biological. I heard a sound. We got a problem. Red alert, red alert, red alert. Yes, but an enlightened person would say, I hear a sound. There's a problem. I wonder what the gift will be. Now, I'm not talking about you being in the middle of a street and somebody honks a horn. Get out of the way. Shit. Don't be stupid. But I do mean that when we find a problem, instead of fixating on the problem, say, what's the gift in this? What will I receive from this? Because if all is God, so is the problem. We limit God when we say a problem's a problem. No, a problem is an answer from the universe that we don't know the question to yet. It's like Jeopardy. We're just not asking the right questions. A problem is beautiful. Because if we're coming from a spiritually awake point of view, we've got to ask ourselves the right kind of questions to unlock this Rubik's Cube. And here's the deal. You don't just get a solution, you get a higher experience of yourself. You evolve. You're no longer on this level, A problem, see, I would love it if myself and everyone could just evolve by inspiration. Just evolve by inspiration. But you've all heard everything you ever need to hear. You do know everything, but you're just avoiding it. And so the universe sets up these little blocks, like, hello, let's get your attention. So back to the woman that I had this confrontation with. She also held the key to me doing what I want to do in the future. Now, wouldn't say it was a confrontation. So I was afraid to go back to her because I need to ask her something. When I lost it, she was not happy. Not happy. And so I just didn't have the confidence to reach out. Didn't want to reach out. So that was a problem. It was at Seabeck. And I'm listening to all these other people with problems. I'm knowing that that's just silliness, and yet I have my own problem. And so I realized that the problem was I thought someone could keep my good from me. No one can keep my good from me. My good is God. My God is my source of goodness, whether it shows up as a this or this or this or this or this. And no one can keep my good from me. And even if she said no, that would be the door closing because God's got a bigger door. Because nothing can keep my good from me. You get it? Most of the problems we have is that we think something's in the way of us expressing our good or having our good or moving into our good. No. It's just a door so you can remember there's only one source of good. And it is God. And when you get that, with confidence, I sent her a text. And with grace and ease, she sent me the most beautiful response. But if she hadn't, I would have just known, I'm supposed to go another way because nothing can keep my good from me. Does that make sense? These worldviews. What if we all started going, wow, great, a problem. Now, you might have to get your sangha or a prayer partner to help you see the solution in it, but problems are blessed. Why? Because there is nothing but God. How can there be anything but a blessing in that problem? And if you don't see that, then this is a wonderful opportunity to work with a prayer practitioner and have them walk with you through this. In fact, actually, before I had my big breakthrough, I talked to my prayer partner at Seabeck. I shared everything. And she didn't say anything, but she must have been praying because that's when I got, I get it. I believe somebody can keep my good from me. Let's pray. So, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, look at your hand of cards, and see the little 3s and 4s, the easy ones that you just want to toss out. The idea that I'm a to this or I'm a to that, or it's too late, or this is happening, or can't do it here. Just throw those puppies out. Just throw them out. Make a decision that this is not the day that you will entertain keeping these cards. They're losers. And now, look to see what your big cards are, the ones that are getting in your way. Those are the beliefs you have about the universe. The beliefs that you're so used to that you don't even question it. A lot of us think that God will answer our prayer. Oh no, this is it. Too many of us have faith that there is a God. We don't have faith that God will respond to us. All the time. So it can't. It can't. Some of us have a belief that God will answer our prayer when it gets around to it. Eventually, it will unfold. No, that's just a belief. So throw out the big cards. Throw out the ones that you thought were so important that you held on to them. They're losers too. And now imagine yourself laying it all down and experiencing harmony on earth. Being a place where goodness showed up. You win. Because heaven's now. And so it is.